Hello.
Hey, what's going on? What'd you make of the old first half here?
I mean, a couple different things. One of them is doubling Jalen Brunson more to get the ball out of his hands, and that has been more successful than I expected. We'll talk about a little bit about the process there, but then also the big thing for me has been Indiana's paint dominance. They have taken 28 shots in the paint already, and they've made 20 of those 28. It's been a huge part of their success so far. Hasn't necessarily translated to a ton of free throws. I mean, 13's respect, or sorry, 7 free throws. But who cares? You get that many shots, you get that many makes in the paint. Things are going to look pretty good.
Yeah, the Knicks had some success going at Halliburton and pick and roll, getting the McBride pick and pop. They kind of shut that down by putting Halliburton on Hart. Of course, there's a concern with the rebounding in that respect, but Indiana hasn't been out efforted by the Knicks so far. And then Brunson now has matched his number with 11 straight missed shots, and they've just made it difficult for him to find room in the paint. And he just has also missed some shots that he normally would make, like that one that they're just showing here in his non-sizzle reel. And then offensively, for the Pacers, a little too much Nemhart and McConnell early, but when Halliburton came back in the game, he really started controlling things. And any time that he breaks the paint, great stuff happens. Of course, unfortunately for the Pacers, they led 61-48, and they did a Minnesota Timberwolves impression to give up 4 points right at the end of the half.
Is this a redo of the tech at the beginning, or
No,
is this
this
a
is
separate?
just when the tech was
Oh, okay.
was done. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
was
know that
they said
shot
it
it.
was after? Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, we never really got a great look at what happened precisely on that technical. And now they're going to give up transition, and Brunson just gets a layup. So this is now 6 points for New York in basically 10 seconds worth of action. Awful. Now Halliburton on the pick and roll. They've got Hartenstein on Siakam. And Siakam, if Pascal Siakam didn't fall down on every single shot attempt, he might actually draw a foul every now and then. McBride switched on to by Siakam. Backdoor. And McBride beats him. This now for the Knicks is 8 straight points. And Rick Carlisle has to talk about it as the Knicks are right back in contact. This was 61-48 with 10 seconds left in the half.
And we still don't have a ton of detail on what's going on with Josh Hart's abs, but we'll,
Yeah, I mean, my guess is an abdominal strain.
it makes the most sense.
Yeah, so that's an 8-0 run in essentially 3 possessions. But yeah, Siakam, like, he falls down on every single shot that he takes in the paint. And so he's never going to get a call because there's no way to know when he actually is being fouled.
Boy who cried wolf with falling. Kyle says felt like the Knicks shot quality was bad in the first half. I'd say that's generally true. They did get a couple of decent corner threes, but outside of that, it was a lot of floaters that were contested and some mid rangers that were contested. I would agree that their shot quality was worse than the Pacers in the first.
I mean, they did get up 18 3-point attempts in the first half. I thought DiVincenzo had some pretty good looks, and as did McBride.
Sure.
They do
And
actually. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
and the possession game pretty close to even so far. Neither team's turned the ball over much. It's 4 for each side, though all four of the Pacers turnovers were live ball, and then both teams actually doing reasonably well on the offensive glass. 32% for the Pacers, 34.5 for the Knicks.
So are we rooting for the Pacers to win? So there are 2 game sevens, probably, right? I think I'd like to have a day with 2 game sevens on it.
I'm fine either way. But this has been it's been a I'm not gonna say it's been the most fun series we've ever done, but it's been enjoyable.
Oh, the first 3 games were pretty good.
Yeah.
Last 2 haven't been. I mean, there is an overarching feel that this is not the highest level of basketball.
Oh, if you had to power rank the Pacers and the Knicks into the West playoff teams, knowing what we know right now, where would you put them? Well, if we're counting,
Like knowing what we know right now in terms of who's actually available at this moment.
I'm guessing that would be a part of it. I mean, because if you're gonna make one, if you're gonna make them full strength, then you have to make everyone else full strength. But like,
I would probably put them 8th above the injured Zionless Pels. Well, I guess the Clippers didn't have Kawhi either. So,
sure.
I mean, I could see the Clippers possibly winning a series against either of these two teams, but I probably would have to put them higher.
I think I'd put these teams over them, but below the Suns, which is wild because the Suns were swept.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is just hilarious. Keystone Cops level defending by the Pacers. And they've given up 2 basically backdoor layups. I mean, yeah, I'm just like Siakam switched on to McBride. They're trying to do more switching off the ball and just wasn't ready. Let's see if they actually get Halliburton the ball here. He's underneath. Now he's going to set a screen for Nemhart, pop out. Nemhart's going to drive. And I mean, why? Give the ball to fucking Tyrese Halliburton. And then he makes a perfect decision and they get a wide open 3 as soon as he touches it. It's just insane to be like that. They just like run all these plays for Nemhart.
And it's not like Halliburton's getting like intensely ball denied or anything else. Like they can get him the ball earlier in these possessions.
Brunson trying to work on Nesmith. Halliburton has actually been very effective with that play coming from the top. And now that he's guarding hard, it'll be even easier. When Brunson tries to kind of work in his office there at the foul line, Halliburton has snuck up behind him and got him a couple of times. Now Halliburton looking to turn the corner, goes to a tough mid-range fadeaway, maybe his first bad decision, but Pacers are going to get this back. Great effort. Halliburton is open for 3. Yeah, cashes out. So that is a huge stretch now. 2 straight threes. Tom Thibodeau needs to talk about it. And Indiana back in command now all of a sudden after it looked like things might be getting away from them.
And you could say it's kind of restoring order after the super weird end of the first half, beginning of the second half, where those the circumstances, I mean, the technical and a few other things, we didn't expect that to necessarily continue.
Is there a reason Halliburton doesn't do anything other than shoot jumpers? Well, I mean, some of it is. Are you talking about just in general or in this series? I think he has broken the paint a lot. I mean, well, his passing certainly counts as something other than shooting jumpers.
Absolutely.
Part of it is because he's their best shooter, but also I think it's a lack of aggressiveness. It's that he wants to play more of a team game. Part of it is just that playing with Nemhart and McConnell, like those guys are actually point guards by trade themselves, and they're probably a little selfish, honestly. And he, because he can shoot it, he wants to play that team game and will let them do that. And the coach is probably the one, they want to play this free flowing style and just whoever has the advantage, you just go. But it has to me skewed a little too TJ and Nemhart compared to Halliburton. So, but he also just, he doesn't have that kind of personality where he's like, you give me the ball.
Yes, that's very true. I'll note, because we didn't do the first half of the game, no one's in foul trouble. This has been a very low foul game so far, 16 combined. No one has more than 2, and I don't need to go through those guys. I will when they get to 3. Would you guys have spent a timeout there if you were Tibbs? I don't think I would have. It wasn't like, I mean, there were things that weren't going great, but now my box score has it that they're down to 3. You don't know exactly how all of those are classified. I don't think.
Well, this is their
mandatory.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I would have, because you want to manage the fatigue a little bit better. I mean, this is just now. I think what he was angry at is that they didn't get that defensive rebound. I think that's why he felt like the effort just wasn't high enough, and that definitely was a killer. But I think you also want to preserve your timeouts a little more strategically than just men. We got to rebound. Though I do like that he calls them men. That's it's an old school callback.
Jay says this series seems very JV. The rest of the teams seem so much better. I broadly agree with that. I mean, they're not the injured Cavs at the end of that series were not, but it happens. And I mean, you get teams that whether it's a favorable break in the bracket, it could be an in-series injury or something else, and that's a part of the fun of it. And I did a podcast with Mo Tequil about this before the playoffs began, about that it can sometimes be very difficult for franchises in this situation to properly evaluate like their pathway to this point. Though it's interesting, like let's say the Knicks are the team that advances because they're injured right now too.
Trying to get a couple of screens for Brunson here. And now he'll engage during pick and roll defense. Nesmith back in position. Brunson, that's a nice look right there. That was really good. He was able to accelerate, showed a little more burst on that than he has, and then got off the ground before Nesmith could even challenge it. Siakam waves Nesmith away to screen for Halliburton. 2 on the ball with Halliburton. He picks up his dribble. Now Siakam is going to try Hartenstein. Kicks out Turner. Turner's going to drive. He's had some nasty drives in this series. I thought he got fouled there too.
Yeah, looked like he hit in the left arm.
So they've got Siakam back on Hart now, and they do have Halliburton on McBride. I want to see whether they're going to switch out of that or not. So now the Knicks immediately recognize it and go after Halliburton and pick and roll. That leads to Hart being wide open. They left Hart open. Maybe with this abdominal issue, they feel like they want to make Hart prove he can hit some shots. Halliburton on the move into the corner. Nembhard gets off the ball nicely. This leads to Nesmith's wide open three. He's missed a lot of those, but Turner is just wide open underneath. And there's the danger of putting Hartenstein on Siakam as it opened up the boards for Turner. He's got a massive height advantage on whoever is with him down there.
And that was good assertiveness from Miles Turner. And the possession game being even, that can be pretty good for the Pacers because that means they're not getting killed on the glass.
Yeah, Brunson's wild gyrations fail to draw a foul call. Hart in the pick and pop goes in on Turner. Not even close. And Pacers get another loose ball rebound. Hartenstein's behind the play. Halliburton's going to drive it. He had Nembhard open in the corner. He actually missed him, but wants to get it back now. McBride doing well to keep him off that right hand. He has to use the screen. McBride still in contact with him, still not letting him get off of it. And that was an awful possession by Halliburton. Absolutely atrocious. And he knows it.
And that shot does not count. You at a certain point, if things aren't going your way, you need to be able to assess.
Well, he needed to just use the screen. He just and I mean, McBride was fantastic there, getting under the screen and meeting him. But like, he needs to just keep going left. And here they're going to give up another back door. Brunson almost smoked it, but Knicks back within 11. Pacers trying to get transition. Now they're going to run some pick and roll at Hartenstein. Siakam gets his man in the air, almost got knocked off his balance. If he'd gone up there, he would have got the foul call. Now Halliburton again, getting to his spot. McBride back into contact. Siakam will have to create one-on-one against Hartenstein, and he drains it on him.
Really good activity, though, from McBride to make the initial action not really work as well, but
he's been really good these last couple of possessions for sure. It's rare that if you don't trap Tyrese Halliburton, you're not going to get killed in pick and roll, and that's been his individual defense. Here's Brunson accelerating, tries to draw the foul, but another pretty wide open look against Nesmith. You've seen he's trying to dig a little bit deeper and get a little bit harder of accelerations. Halliburton has Hartenstein on him. He's going to try one-on-one here. If he can break the paint, he'll be in good shape. Hartenstein again keeping him off that right hand. Now Halliburton gets into the lane. Oh, what a spinning pass, but Brunson with the rotation to Turner. Turner fades away for three, and I thought Turner had another pass there
To
to make.
Nembhard. It was there.
Here's McBride. Quick release. Nembhard has that. Halliburton's a little tired after a few of these failed attacks. Nice pass underneath. Siakam got deep post position, and that time he will get a foul call.
I liked Nembhard there, keeping his head up. The pass, I thought it might have been there earlier, but then he keeps looking for it, and Siakam gets into position, get 2 free throws.
Mark asked, did the Celtics miss on Neesmith's evaluation a little bit? Yeah, I think they moved him largely just as matching salary in that deal. The Pacers did well, I think, to acquire him in addition to a first-round pick. I mean, that was to get that first, which I think they eventually parlayed into Ben Shepherd. I don't think it was maybe that, or no, maybe they traded that pick for like all those seconds within that weird trade with the Nuggets. And actually, yeah, you know what I think they did is they moved back a year in the draft and actually ended up trading the pick they got for Siakam. In any event, yeah, very good trade for Malcolm Brogdon, who has not even necessarily lived up to his contract by the Pacers, and identifying Neesmith as a guy who might be better in a new home because like he just was running around like a chicken with his head cut off with the Celtics. He was just, you think he fouls a lot now. It was even crazier then. He showed some defensive playmaking, but also he just would get sped up so much he couldn't make shots, and he wasn't going to be in their rotation. And you know, it was better off. Like they had Grant Williams still at that time. They wanted to get Hauser sometimes, so I don't know that they misevaluated. They might have seen this coming, but it just time was kind of up for him. Brunson against Neesmith, who got back in position off the screen. Brunson trying to stop and start. Oh, Halliburton just lost McBride, and that was really nice there. That was a good job of Brunson and McBride realizing what Halliburton was trying to do by helping off of him, and McBride relocated beautifully. Now Nembhard will work in pick and roll. Siakam downhill. DiVincenzo almost got the steal. Pacers are still getting every loose ball, though. Here's Nembhard off the pass fake. Now the shot fake. Still the Pacers get the loose ball, and Siakam hits that free throw line jumper. That was emblematic of what's taken place here. The Pacers at home have had the energy advantage.
And 2 rough possessions that ended with free throw line jumpers, one for Turner and Siakam, that's helped keep the margin where it is.
Brunson, good help by Nembhard. They don't beat him there as DiVincenzo was open, and Brunson did not go that way. Now Halliburton getting to his right hand, and nice deflection there by New York.
By the way, the pick that went to the Pacers in the Brogdon deal, that became Julian Strawther. So that was in the eventual 2013 trade. And I'm trying to remember.
Trade, yeah.
Yeah, 2023. Yeah.
Halliburton getting into the lane again. Hartenstein coming off at Turner. Has to go to the tough fadeaway. Yeah, he's getting very aggressive here. And Halliburton, did he just hold up his say he's too small? It's just a little bit of that. Maybe his back's not feeling well. He can't actually get his hand all the way to the ground to say that he was too small. Hartenstein looking to interact with McBride. Nice drive, and Turner goes flying. Is this going to be a shooting foul? No, I think they're pointing on the ground. Poor by Achua not to draw the shooting foul there.
Yeah, when you get a guy in the air, just you don't have to do much to get the 2 free throws. I thought Halliburton looked off Nembhard a little bit there, but he ended up making the shot.
And they get the backdoor again, but that time I think it was actually the footsteps of Turner that bothered McBride. Siakam coming off the Halliburton screen. He pops out. They'll re-screen against Achua. Halliburton trying to get McBride on his back. Tough step back. Halliburton, man, he has turned ultra aggressive now. And they're going to call that a 2, but they are now up 17. McBride laid the wood on Neesmith, but Neesmith back in the play. They go under. Brunson's only shooting 30% from 3 in the playoffs, but we are going to get a hold now finally on Neesmith.
And the low foul quarter continues, that is the I think that's the second team foul on the Pacers, and there's only one on the Knicks.
What's the opinion on Zach Zarpa? I think he does a nice job. He is pretty much considered to be the best, I think, by most players and coaches. In part because he actually has a decent personality, I'm guessing.
I don't notice Zarba as much, which is generally a good thing.
Yeah, we'll hit some of the comments and questions from YouTube too. Please give us a subscribe if you have not yet done that. McConnell is in. He's going to try to hound Brunson. Brunson breaks his ankles, but McConnell got back in front with good nail help from Toppin. Hartenstein does get it off from the foul line. No, it'll be a shot clock violation.
And that was nearly an impressive split of the double there, but it was a little too late.
Yeah, if Hart has an abdominal strain, that is really hard to play with. McConnell snakes. See, that's a terrible shot. Turner is wide open. He took that shot over two guys, really well contested. Brunson missing the three. McConnell did knock it away, though, from Hartenstein. Incredible play there. Toppin running the floor. Oh, McConnell was cutting. Toppin didn't even look at him. He just put his head down and decided to dribble. Now Haliburton forced along the baseline. Finds Nembhard on the cut, but the pass is at his feet. DiVincenzo trying to be run down by Toppin. Achua, and nice grab there by TJ McConnell to force Achua to the foul line where he struggled.
And that pass was way too slow to DiVincenzo and a little bit at his feet. That should have been a dunk. Instead, it'll be two pressure Drew free throws, and he is not the most reliable free throw shooter.
How would a healthy Bucks team have gone in this series? I think they would have completely well, especially with the Knicks being as injured as they are. I think the Bucks. I picked the Bucks because I assumed that Giannis would actually be back. I picked them to make it to the East Finals, and Giannis didn't play, of course. But I actually think the Bucks would have been pretty good if they'd had their whole group. And I think certainly there would have been moments where Brunson in particular would have cooked them. But neither of these teams had any kind of answer for Giannis.
Right.
And the Bucks just they have more top end talent. To me, Giannis is just better than anybody else in this series. And Dame is, I would say right there if healthy with Haliburton and Brunson.
Simon asked, do you think the Pacers should have pulled Siakam here instead of trying to get this lead to a point where New York stopped trying? I don't know that you can do that. I don't know that in a game like this.
Well, and Toppin has been great too.
Yeah.
Right.
And Siakam needs some rest. I would have pulled him. I think it was a good decision.
Can you remember any other star players so up and down in a series like Jamal Murray? This series, I mean, he's had 1.5 good games.
He hasn't been down, that up.
Honestly. I'm sorry?
He hasn't been that up.
Yeah. I mean, he was amazing in game 3. Other than that, I wouldn't say so. How would the series look with Randall available? It's been so long since he's been there. I mean, they were absolutely rolling when they had him and OG together. I do think he would have been able to eat pretty well against this team, honestly. They don't have a great guy to guard him. I mean, maybe that would have been Siakam, but it's really a shame the number of injuries that we've had. I think it would have been fascinating to see this full strength New York team against a full strength Bucks team.
Sure, would have been nice. And we know that the Celtics are rooting for the Pacers in this game because that buys them a little bit more time with Porzingis, but we already have the reporting from Woj that Porzingis not expected to be ready for games 1 and 2 at least of the conference finals.
Yeah, 15-point game here. Achua was fouled in transition before the break. And yeah, that was not close. McConnell, they're trying to force him left as well. He's definitely a much better shooter going to his right. Siakam going at Achua. Puts him in the mix, pulls up, got space, tipped by Nembhard, but Burke's able to come down with it. Yeah, this is not the level of defensive group that the Knicks are accustomed to. Hart is back in, and I thought that can't feel good there. That tip, if you have an ab strain trying to reach up over your head, it's got to be tough. Now McConnell and one goes right through Hart.
Great energy.
Nobody picked him up.
Yeah, nobody picked him up, and Hart probably still reeling a little bit from that reaching attempt and just wasn't quite in position. And that was a pretty good contest from Obi Toppin. I criticize his defense all the time, but I thought he did better there in transition than he usually does.
I mean, he really has not been like particularly taken advantage of in this series, I gotta say. That's the number one reason that I think these teams suck. No, I'm just kidding. No, he's done a better job, I think. But yeah, I am surprised that Tom Thibodeau hasn't gone coaching revenge game on him.
Sure.
Yeah, with an 18-point lead here, getting to be danger time for the Knicks, and there's going to be a very quick turnaround to a Game 7. That's going to be a day game on Sunday. And we saw that the Knicks, after a quick turnaround before, did not do so well. Here's DiVincenzo, wild drive, and poor job there by Nembhard, bailing him out with the foul. DiVincenzo has had a few of those, which actually have largely profited. He's gone to some like huge spin moves, and that time he just went headlong, and I don't think he could have finished that, but he got fouled.
Oh, I hadn't seen this. Truitt said, and I had that the Eastern Conference Finals is starting Tuesday, irrespective of whether this game ends the series or not. It does appear that that is correct. The NBA likes to keep consistency, but I thought they'd try to put a game on the weekend if they could. Celtics still would rather have this go 7.
I would think so. Nembhard and Burks is going to pick up a cheapie there. See, I don't love that call. Like he's got to beat just fine there. Just no need to call that foul.
And that is the third team foul in the Knicks the Pacers have.
Oh, you know what it probably is, Danny? I guess as here's McConnell now pulling up from the elbow and draining it to push it back to 18. Is the East on TNT this year?
No, it's ABC ESPN.
Interesting. Okay. Brunson working on McConnell. Toppin does a good job of popping out. Brunson tries to draw the foul. Great pass underneath. Found Achua inside.
Yeah, good read there and getting an easy bucket, but it's been a tough quarter. It's 25-19 in favor of the Pacers.
Siakam waves McConnell away, wants to get Nembhard involved. Not a lot of shooting on the floor right now for the Pacers, but Shepherd is a shooter. He missed that one. He's been better from the corners, where he's been extremely reliable, in fact, but above the break, less so. Yeah, and there's a look at that form from McConnell, the way he can kind of get himself set, run under his dribble, and then pop off the ground to beat the defender. There's the late switch. Brunson didn't want to jump in for the foul. A couple of years ago, he could have done that. Now Brunson blows right past him. Yeah, that Euro step and then the sweep up is a devastating move for Brunson. But now Brunson is guarding McConnell. That's not a great matchup for the Knicks either. Brunson finding Shepherd on the back door. But
what a play by Achua.
They're going to call this a goaltend. I think this was...
I thought it was clean.
Yeah, I think this is pretty good. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Not totally even close to a goaltend. They should challenge that for sure.
Briefly, we get asked, what is the new TV deal mean for RSNs? And the answer at the moment is we don't know. It's too early to tell. The Amazon kind of part of this where they bought the some of the Bally stuff, like it's going to
Yeah.
take time for all of that to resolve.
Yeah, and there's also the component of NBC potentially getting in, but they also have some of the RSNs as well. And then you wonder, like, no friend of Adam Silver, James Dolan, the big market teams have to get compensated in some way. Because what I'm hoping to have happen, at least for my own selfish purposes, and probably just for the overall fan, is that NBA League Pass can include local games. Now, I think the reason this is called is Achua actually takes it over the cylinder by blocking it, and I think they just saw his hand in contact with the ball over the cylinder. So that I would be maybe
And
Zach Zarb will have a good explanation for it if he's.
I don't think there was a clear recovery, especially because the ball was up there for a long enough time for that. So I think this will just be a jump ball.
What's the concern with Murray's elbow? The fact that he was actually pretty open about it is not a great sign. Successful challenge.
Yeah, and it's hard for Zarber to give a great explanation there because it's a legal block, which it was. But yeah, back briefly to the RSN thing. I mean, for us, it would be great if you could get League Pass for local games, in part
Right.
because it's been one of the big frustrations with the strategy stream, as much as we love doing it, that we would love to be an alternative for people in their home markets because those are the teams they care most about, and not
Right.
getting to do that. Or we can tell people, oh, you can watch it a couple days later. It'd be awesome if it could be live.
Yeah, but I mean, the Knicks, the Lakers, the Warriors, like those teams are going to require some compensation if you're allowed to watch buy NBA League Pass and watch the Warriors in your home market.
Absolutely.
Now Siakam working against Achua doesn't really get much advantage. Pass is way low and slow. Oh, McConnell snuck underneath, a quintessential McConnell play. And they do get the 2-for-1 there also. Brunson weighs everyone away. He wants to go at Toppin and pick and roll. McConnell gets through it, trying to force him right. Good screen by Hart. Brunson fires the three over Toppin. That was a monster screen set the second time by Josh Hart, which forced Toppin out there on the floor, and Brunson was able to shoot over him. Here's McConnell. Brunson tries to take the charge.
And it's a blocking foul.
Blocking foul. I think that's the right call. I think McConnell changed direction to go around him.
And it's definitely, I think that's their fourth team foul, but I think it's also the first in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, and you can see if you draw an arrow of the direction that McConnell is going, Brunson not in his path there.
And still, low foul overall game. The only player with 3 is Aaron Nesmith.
An appropriate person to have 3, though.
Sure.
So Halliburton is back in here for this final 6.4 seconds. They want to screen for him. McBride is back in to guard him, too. They don't let him go right. Halliburton drives the spinning pass, and they're going to get Toppin for a travel. He probably should have just fired that one.
Yeah, you're not going to get a better shot with 3 seconds left than the shot that's right there. He doesn't quite have the Kevin Love, everyone else fly by 3 footwork down yet, which is actually sneaky hard. Like if you ever want to try it, especially with how far the NBA 3-point line is, it's a harder set of steps than you think.
Brunson going to get this off,
Ooh.
And that's off the heel. So Knicks with a ton of work to do. Indiana had them on the ropes. I think the largest lead was 18, but the Knicks were able to stay barely in contact. And we'll see I mean, this could end up actually helping Indiana if the Knicks keep having to play more.
It absolutely could. And Jalen Brunson, 14 points in the third quarter, but the Knicks only had 24. And so the Pacers actually expanded the lead during that third quarter, 27-24 overall.
Yeah. As our resident TV critic, you want to take a two-way games question?
So if you're asked by ESPN, TNT how to improve their NBA production, what would you suggest? So, I mean, I have a bunch of thoughts on the score bug. I don't need to get into all that. That's just basically the idea that it needs to convey score, time, timeouts, fouls, and one of the things with fouls that might need to be a part of it is shifting from team fouls to drawn fouls, which is basically because one of the problems is that we usually use the terminology of bonus rather than penalty. And so the bonus is on the team drawing the fouls and the penalty is on the team committing them. That would be a simplification. In terms of like the content, I mean, there are a lot of different elements. Being more comfortable with talking about different coverages, using I mean, honestly, even at certain circumstances, being open to being more critical of the players, like if they make a mistake, explaining like how they made a mistake and why. And those are kind of some of the big ones. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff with studio shows and all that, but I don't watch those as much, so I don't care as much about them. Oh, and obviously never show every play in full. Don't have the crop thing or come late because you were showing a highlight or a commercial.
Oh my
That
God, yeah.
that
I mean, that's one. Yeah, the biggest one is just to not be so cheap. I mean, obviously it's a business, but ESPN has basically 2 minutes and 30 seconds of actual talking on their halftime show, and yeah, no wonder everyone bitches about the halftime show sucking, and they're just reciting the box score. Yeah, it's because they don't have any time, and then TNT comes back late all the time. Uh, so those are things I would definitely point to. Um, I think if they ESPN has largely done a pretty good job. Like Breen is pretty good. I think Ian Eagle is pretty good. I think like most other than Stan Van Gundy, I think TNT's analysts are pretty anodyne, as you kind of alluded to. But then no one would want to watch us if they were actually good. So
oh, I'd still
maybe we should just ask them to continue to not be that great.
yeah, I can answer this one. Nathan did a good job on YouTube about it, but basically asked if we'd give WNBA coverage. And answering personally, I've been watching more WNBA the last couple of years. The problem is it is a bandwidth issue and a timing issue, and I would want to feel confident that I was doing something well in order to add it to the repertoire, which is also the reason why we don't do college basketball, because to be able to get in there. So we do draft stuff because we do that in a different way, but I mean, and so we'll probably do some Olympics. I don't know we've made any formal commitments there in terms of what stuff we'll do for the Olympics, but it's just it's too much to do well. And so we're at a certain point I think we challenge ourselves a lot, but at a certain point we have limits.
Yeah, I feel like I'm never doing enough NBA stuff to begin with, and there's always more of that I could be doing. There's 30 teams. There's probably about to be 32. But let's get back to the action here and not pull a TNT or ESPN. Is McConnell able to get to the basket off pick and roll again? He never finishes with his left hand, interestingly, but he still can finish left. Now they actually are double teaming in the backcourt. Jackson's still waiting there. Now he backs up. I would have liked to see him just go there, make him pass it. McConnell getting back in front of Brunson. Hart underneath. Jackson swallows him up. He wants to interact now with DiVincenzo coming off the Brunson screen. Neesmith got through it beautifully. DiVincenzo fires. I was going to say that's the second time late clock somebody has just let him shoot over them, but that time he missed. Neesmith, good deep post up. Jackson trying to get strong among five Knicks. And Jackson, man, he went to like Miss Marge's finishing school. He's making all of these. That one luckily rimmed in, but he used to have no touch on anything that wasn't a dunk. And I don't know if Miss Marge's finishing school is a real school, but if anyone in the comments knows what a good finishing school is, I will surely use that reference from now on. Oh, yes! Beautiful pass as Jackson was still engaged with Brunson in the pick and roll defense. Achua gets behind him, but there was not a lot of space there. Now Siakam. Achua's defended him pretty well here in this game, I would say. Siakam gets the screen from Nesmith. They actually run a pick and roll, and there's TJ McConnell spotting up for 2-point range. There's another example of the Pacers' superior energy in this one, though. McConnell right back to Siakam, wide open. Another spot up 2-pointer for Indiana, and they're now up 17.
Yeah, overall, the Pacers now 8 of 16 on mid-range jump shots.
Brunson is yet to rest in this half. He crosses over on Nesmith, and he jumps into his face to get the foul call.
To copy an earlier question, did the Knicks miss on the top-end evaluation? I don't think they did. I think so it does appear that part of the reason they made that trade was kind of to do Toppin a solid where he was going to fall a little bit in the rotation. And so they wanted to do that, which I've always thought is a little weird. Like basically the idea, I don't think you owe it to players to get them into a better situation. But Toppin has been at times. He's been better this year. I criticize his defense a lot during the regular season, but the energy he brings and it can be really valuable. And he's been better in the playoffs than I expected.
Yeah, they did miss the Toppin evaluation. They took him 8th overall in 2020.
Yeah, they did. They didn't notice how limited his hip flexibility was.
Yeah, that's right. No, I mean, I still don't think he's a starting power forward. Like getting 2 seconds for a guy in the last year of his rookie deal, who's like a bench rotation player, that's fine. Like you're not going to get a first for a guy like that.
And Toppin is in the circumstance. Usually, restricted free agency is hard for players like that. He might get overpaid in restricted free agency.
Here's Siakam. They're starting to try to get to these Siakam pick and rolls at Brunson. Siakam, another spot up too. What is going on here? Was that Antonio Davis pulling up there for the free throw line? Nice pressure by Shepherd against Burks, and the Knicks not going to get into their offense here until 12, maybe even less. And then, they throw it away. That's all the pressure right there. Siakam on the push. Nembhard for 3. And we're going to get a loose ball foul on Achua. He wasn't able to turn around. He just went for the face guard on Jackson. And again, the energy of the Pacers has been superior throughout this game.
I brought up how the possession game was pretty even in the first half. It has now swung Indiana's way. They're up to 41% offensive rebounds, and they're ahead of the Knicks in the turnover battle as well.
Siakam now with the whole side open. Good job by Achua trying to force him left. Siakam falls down again for no reason. And there's another loose ball foul drawn by Jackson, who got inside position. This is, I think, the first look we've gotten of Achua and Hartenstein. Maybe they went to it a little bit when Hart was struggling in the first half with injury. I mean, how does Siakam fall down there? Why? What happened?
What was there?
Like, it would be nice to just stay on your feet. Instead, now he's going to go strong. I like when guys think they got fouled in the previous possession and then go extra strong, but he got stopped that time. DiVincenzo stepping back. Jackson late getting out there. Achua beats 3 Pacers to the ball, and he's fouled on the floor.
I mean, it is weird that 2 Cameroonian-born players in the NBA both fall down way too much unnecessarily, but Luc Richard and Bob Moute, a favorite of mine, didn't do that, so maybe it's not all of them.
Yeah, as you see Hart headed to the locker room. Jackson and Siakam will sit down. And this is a pretty limited group. No Siakam, no Halliburton. Burks, I don't think he did much there.
I don't think that's not foul to me.
Maybe he's moving forward, and that's why. Bricklayer Joe says those interstitial ads with Chuck and Kenny are especially annoying. I quite agree on that one, Bricklayer Joe, and particularly since we got to say the word interstitial. Oh, great block by Turner. He's been solid tonight at the rim. McConnell, another relentless push. He's going to go right in the corner. Nembhard way out in the corner. And I think that's probably it here, Danny.
I am fine with that. 20 points, 822. We will see you. I was going to say we'll see you on Sunday, but we're going to be broadcasting on Saturday. We're going to be doing game 6 of Thunder Mavericks.
Deepak, I knew I could trust Deepak to come up with this. Here, can you say that in French? What the finishing school name?
Institut via Pierre Fou would be how I would say it.
All right, well, we're gonna have 2 Game 7s. That's gonna be a lot of fun on Sunday, and I think this is not really pressing enough to do a pod, so we'll probably just do that tomorrow after the Saturday game, and we'll catch you all then. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.